So we had a few church shifts, right? And we shift by intentionality shifts. Um, Painful processes, very very painful. Some of the greatest pain, spiritual, emotional, or otherwise, that you'll ever experience, you experience around church. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? While we have like members who always talk about church hurt, church hurt, church hurt. Um, Nobody can speak on church hurt like preacher in his family. Just can't. You just can't beat them. You can't articulate better than a preacher, his wife, and his family, and going through church stuff. And most people don't even have a clue as to what real church hurt is. People get mad about something. That's different. We have to take it and still preach, still teach, and still be 10 toes down, family, and be embarrassed and still preach and teach. They can go to another church across the street, down the road. You know what I'm saying? So church hurt, very a human experience as well as a spiritual experience. And I think for us, that's one of those things that I was saying, that if you're not solid, church hurt, church shift, church breakup can break up a family too. It really can. It can test the fabric and the fiber and the metal of a marriage, right? Because while you're going through that, you also are going through stuff in your own home. That tension, that stress, you bring that back to the house. And sometimes you be duking it out at home because you don't know how to duke it out at church. So your brain, you ain't got nowhere to go, right? Because the church for a preacher is so attached to his home. It's hard, the distinction between the two things. Very difficult. Right? You can make a separation, but it's very difficult, right? Because we be looking at compartmentalizing, well, the church over there and then we home over here. Preaching in his family, no, they one and the same. What's happening over there is flowing back over here. What's happening here is flowing back over there. I.e., we had to leave a church because we didn't want our home stuff to implode or explode at the church, right? That's how close it is, right? So when you go through that in your family, your kids, when we talk about kids, we had to share with our kids age appropriately because we had, teenage son, um, uh, middle daughter was like 12, and then a baby at 8. We had to explain to them age appropriately what was happening to us. Like, hey, so to the older boy, hey, son, we're going through a little season right here, a little tough time. Mom and dad are going through a little tough time, but it's going to be all right. We're going to have to make some shifts and move, because sometimes God be making you move, and he got different ways of getting you into another place, son. You understand that, son? Yeah, I get that, because we want to shield them. So
we
that
did.
we did
for a while until we got to our third church.
Yeah. And so you want to shield them and protect them so that they won't be bitter with the church. Like, man, y'all did my parents like this right here. What's wrong with y'all? I ain't never coming back to church. Middle daughter, same stuff, but on a different level. Baby girl, hey, baby girl, we about to move. God got us, moving. You know what I mean? No details, no color, none of that junk, because I don't want to mess my kids up like that. You know what I mean? And I don't want to sell them short either, where they're getting questions answered by somebody else. No, you're gonna get it from us, right? If you're asking a question, we're gonna give you an answer. If you ain't asking a question, it might not be worth the answer, because you can make much out of nothing. You can put something in their heart that wasn't even there. I don't know why you sharing that with me. Well, brothers and so no, our kids stayed friends with people because we didn't create enemies.
We didn't create enemies. Yes.
They stayed friends with people. And we ain't touch it. And it's the toughest thing to do. Like, no, we ain't gonna destroy their life, their friendships, because of all this other stuff that's going on. So hands off, right? Unless we had to address something, we wouldn't address it. And then, because ultimately the spiritual part of it is that God is in control of everything. That's the that's the consolation that, hey, God is doing something way bigger. We may not be able to see it now, but later on you'll be able to connect the dots going back. You understand? Going back with connect the dots. And so for us, our marriage, right? And Sister Danes can talk about this. Listen, I had to get some help personally. Right? Why? Because when I came out of these church hurts, there's something in your spirit that comes out of you preaching. Right? You mad, gonna be preaching mad. You bitter, gonna be preaching bitter. You sad, preach sad. Right? You homicidal, you're gonna preach homicidal. Right? You're gonna be popping people from the pulpit. Pop, pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? And then you got these sermons that's rifle sermon, not buckshot, rifle. Yes, yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I did it. I did it for a minute. I did it for a minute. So I had to get some personal healing.
Yeah, that's real.
That's a real thing. And then coming back to the house, like, what does this look like now? You know, what does this look like? Can I love? Can I be soft and gentle and kind at house with dealing with all this pressure? And what's up, man? You know, where you at, baby? You okay? No. So take your temperature too, because she go through it in a whole nother different way. So it's not just the kids, it's us and how we vibing off each other and how we're trying to heal and lick wounds together, right? And getting past the stuff together that creates a whole nother dynamic even in the home. Because the church stuff can overshadow the home to where the marriage don't even feel like that. Because the church, you know, is putting so much pressure and hurt and leveraging so much impact on us as a marriage, as a family, right? And the embarrassment of that too, on top of that, right? And no matter how well you're trying to do it and how you're trying to tiptoe through the stuff, you're trying to salvage the church, and it don't matter sometimes to other people, but you have to hold it down and take stuff, right? That you can put it on blast if you want. You can blow the whole thing up. Like, man, let me throw a grenade, blow the whole thing up. But you resist that because there's something about God, his will, and the church being bigger than us that calls us to fall back and let God handle that. And so it's one of the toughest things. There's no cookie cutter for it. I don't know if there's a book that you can read on this. I think you just have to go through it with the grace that God gives to you, right? Yeah, yeah. So protector sometimes is the insulator too. So you can insulate to a fault.
Yeah.
Correct.
Does that make sense, y'all? Insulate to a fault?
Yes, it does.
I'm the dude that I'm gonna take all the hits. You might not even know what's really going on until it blow up.
Right.
That's fallacy. So you learn, okay, man, this thing ain't been going well for a while. Why? Because I wanted her to be cute. I want her to come to church with no issues, just like my kids, just like my family. I don't want them to come to church with no issue. I want my wife with no grimace on her
Looking
face.
at people
I don't want to turn
weird,
in gray. I don't want to looking at no member sideways. I want to be as pure as she could. And whatever that took me, I'll take the hit. But you can take so many hits till you go down, right? Go down in flames, and then people trying to ask what's wrong with you. Now you got to go back and say, oh, this is what you've been did. If you had shared this with me, I could have helped you with that. And I'm strong you thought I was too.
I was much stronger than you thought I was.
Wow.
Yeah.